excited because I learned a new technique this weekend and I thought, oh, I'll share it with all of you. I promise it'll take less than 5 minutes, but it is going to be awesome. So I am going to shadow a single layer font using a Cricut design space technique. So let's get started. First thing I do is hit my text button. I'll have my text box here and I'll type in whatever title or words that I want to do. Life's a beach. And I'm going to put it up here and a little bit bigger so you guys all can see it a little better. All right. And then I'm going to change it to my desired font. So going up to my pull down menu, I have my font window, which includes all of the fonts that are on my computer at this point. These three buttons here, you can utilize and change your view of what fonts you want to choose from. If I'm making a layout in Design Space that I want to share with all of you on my Facebook page, I usually try to use a Cricut font. That way I can share it. Another thing that's really helpful on the font page is the filters. Let's say you want to have a font that has a shadow. So you would go over here to the filter button, pick the multi-layer, and then the only fonts that would show up are the ones that have a shadow function. So today, though, I'm going to show you how to do a shadow function even on a single layer. Oh, I'm sorry. And also in the filters, you'll have a writing style. So if you want to use your pen in your Cricut Air, Explorer Air, or your Cricut Maker, these are the fonts that will write for you. So I'll do another video on the writing font. There's a couple of other things that techniques or tricks that you can use too for using your pens to actually write. So, all right, let's go back. I'm going to go to clear my filters. So all of the fonts that are available on Cricut in Design Space are here loaded for me. I can simply just roll through or scroll through and find the font I want, or I can use the search bar and type in just a couple of the letters of the font that I had in mind. And one of my favorite fonts is Life is a Beach. My classroom is totally decorated in a beach theme, so I use it a lot. So, all right, it's changed it to my Life's a Beach font. The first thing you're going to do is make sure it's highlighted, and you're going to go ahead and duplicate the title that you've already created. I also will change the color, and whatever color you want to use is fine. It really doesn't matter the color at this point. It just helps me differentiate between the shadow that I'm going to create here in a second and the actual top layer for the title. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just make sure it's selected. And then up here, here's the fun part, in the style box, see where it says regular, hit the pull down menu and go to bold. And ta-da! How exciting is that? Look, it is a perfect shadow for your title. Now, you're going to have to play with it a little bit to make sure it fits, and it will. Remember, everything that you put on the screen doesn't have to be perfect because it'll cut out. If it's good, it'll cut out perfectly. But if you like visual examples, then go ahead and make sure it's placed all correctly. So I ungrouped my front title or my top title, and I'm just kind of placing my letters on their shadow right now and making sure that we all fit. And then I'll go ahead and group it back together to get ready to cut it out. But look how easy that is. I am just in awe. So really, any single layer font that you can find, or I shouldn't say any, I will say most single layer fonts, you can create now a shadow for it. All right, so let me show you one more thing before I go. Let's decide that we're going to weld this font, the single layer font, with our shadow too. So let me show you how I do that real quick. So go back in, type my text, life's a beach. I go up to my fonts and I create, it's Cricut, it's Life's a Beach, it's there already for me. It's ready to go. Next thing I do is I create a duplicate, move it out of the way. I give it a different color just to keep it separate. I go back to the original. I change it to bold. It'll come together here in just a second. Come on. Maybe it's already bold. Did it change to bold? Let's look. There's regular. Yeah, it went bold. Okay, so there's my bold. It just went faster than I thought. All right. And there's two ways that you can do welding. First off, you have to make sure all of your letters touch that you want to connect. So you can do it two different ways. First way is you can change your letter space. So here in this box, you use your pull down keys and you just simply start clicking until your words get close enough to how you want them to appear or touch. Beach is almost there. Beach is touching. So see, every single letter in beach is touching, except for I don't like the C and the H like that because it kind of gives it a D look. So I'll correct that here in a second. Another thing I don't like is this, what is it? Apostrophe is too big for my liking. So I'm going to switch that too. All right. So all of my words are touching. And if I liked how it looked, I could just simply hit the weld key and we could go from there. And actually I'll do that from here. So everything's pretty much touching, almost. The B is okay. And so I'll go down and hit my weld feature and the letters are welded together for the most part. When you go to cut out, it'll cut out the word life's or life with the apostrophe touching, and then beach, all one word too. And then what I do is I go ahead and I layer back on the welded part just to make sure it's all good, it looks good, it's fitting, etc. You could actually weld the top layer too if you wanted. You have the bottom layer already done, the shadow already done. So you could go ahead and weld that too if you wanted. All right. So a lot of the shadow is gone out of it, which I'm not crazy about. So I probably would make it a little larger. Yeah, all of the shadow is gone. How about that? Did I do... I'm wondering if I did... I'm going to do this real quick. I'm wondering if I did a duplicate when it was on bold already. Yeah, I sure did. That's why it was gone. All right, changing it to regular. See, a mistake there. All right, Life's a Beach. Make sure it's in regular style font before you get ready to weld. All right, so there's my original title. It's already on Life's a Beach font for me, so that's good. I'm going to create another title duplicate, change the color. Then I'm going to change the original one to bolded. I'm going to change my letter space until my words touch. Now, I'm going to show you the second way to do this if you don't like how they're crowding each other. Let's say you want to turn some of the letters, you want to make them offset a little bit. Get them as close as you want before you decide to start playing with each individual letter. So it's Life's a Beach is highlighted already here for me, selected already. So I'm going to ungroup all of my letters. And then I can manually manipulate each and every single letter and I can turn it to however I want them to look, which I like a lot better, being able to have that ability to manipulate them exactly how I want. So Sometimes if they're a little too close, it distorts the letter so much that you don't even know what the letter is. So I just am real careful that they only touch a little bit for the weld to work. I went ahead and made my apostrophe a little smaller, just because it was a little too large for me. Okay, so here comes the beach. I'm gonna real quick put these together, maybe offset the A a little bit, and bring it down. Yep, the C, the E still looks good, the H looks good, or the C and the E. There we go. That's a little better. Oh, my H is just not a happy person. All right, let's try this. Maybe like that. Okay, now it looks like an H. Okay, so then you highlight the whole thing and then go down here in the bottom right-hand corner and hit your weld function. And then from there, you can go ahead and put your layer on. Let's see if it fits this time. Silly mistake, but sometimes mistakes are the best way to learn. It's what I tell my students all the time in the classroom. You know, you're not going to be perfect the first time. That's how learning occurs. You practice and keep trying, and don't get down on yourself if you do it wrong. Okay. So here's my apostrophe that I went ahead and made a little smaller on the bottom layer. So I'm just doing that same thing. But the rest of the letters are fitting no problem this time. I wondered why the other ones weren't creating that shadow. Okay, so now I'm going to have to move my A a little bit. I love doing the bottom layer first because it kind of gives you a guide on how to set up that top layer. So get this set up real quick. Switch it a little bit. There we are. And then my H went the other way. You see how easy this is? I mean, for real, I just was so shocked when my friend showed me how to do this. I was like, what? It's just cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and group it, and it's good to go. Let's look at it and see what it's going to do on a mat. So I'm going to hit the Make It button. My life's a beach. And oh, see? So if I wanted to lay out together, maybe I could attach it. But since I am going to glue each and every letter onto this layer, I don't have a problem with the way that Cricut has them cut out in this order. That's fine with me. All right. So I hope this was helpful. Sorry about the mistake earlier, but I'm glad I did that because when you use this function, it automatically will stay on the bolded until you change it back to the regular, something I didn't know. So anyway, hope this is helpful. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And if you have any questions, just leave me a comment in the bottom and I'll answer as soon as I can. Thanks so much. Have a great night, girls. Happy scrapping.